All I'm going to say is we need wide receivers ASAP.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It is your man, Cloudboy Bales. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports. If you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, do whatever. Gotta get some more views and stuff, but we're just gonna keep doing what we gotta do. Anyways, today's video is talking about wide receivers that the Packers should sign or trade for. These are some ideas in my mind. I kind of was planning on making this video a long time ago. I never had the chance to. Now I had some free time and I'm just sitting there like, why don't I come up with some of these people that I think can be real key players for not just anything, but these are people that I'd say really hold value, because we are really looking for people. The only people that have played that are on the active roster that are wide receivers are Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb. Really the only two that have really been significant playmakers the last couple of years. The only other guys are Malik Taylor. He's been known for his special teams. Juwan Renfrey has a lot of potential, but we have not seen him do something yet. And so far, we haven't seen Amari Rodgers, our rookie we drafted last year, do that much. So obviously, we are in a dire need of wide receivers right now. And like I said, there are a lot of free agents out there that the Packers can absolutely take. And it's gonna be tough to replace people like Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Of course, Devontae Adams got traded to the Raiders, and Valdes-Scantling signed with the Chiefs, as well as Equanimeous St. Brown signing with the Bears. So we have a lot of people that we need to replace. So of course, this video is just going to be talking about my options on people that we should think about taking. First off, let's talk Seattle Seahawks wide receivers. So first off, we have DK Metcalf. Dude's a beast. I mean, I don't know how he was not taken higher than he was. But of course, with Seattle, now he was out here saying, I'm ready to be the #1 option. And yes, Seattle's going on their rebuild. They moved on from Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner, which basically is stating that Seattle is going to rebuild from where they're at. So honestly, as we're looking at it, DK Metcalf is a very valuable #1 option. However, he has 1 year left on his contract, which basically means that when he becomes a free agent, he's going to ask for a payload of money. And I feel like if we were to sign somebody, it would be someone that I feel like could last, which is why I don't see DK Metcalf working out. So, of course, I mean, it'd be great to have him. I'm a huge fan of the guy, absolutely, but I don't see this one happening. I hope it happens, but it could. I don't know what'll happen. The other guy is Tyler Lockett. Now, Tyler Lockett is something that right now we're looking for. We need wide receivers that have speed. We know that Lockett has it, and we know a lot of teams are right now looking for wide receivers. Lockett is a huge trade candidate, not just for the start of the season, but maybe later on. And I think he's a guy that can be really valued. We're looking for speed, and he was such a valued receiver for the last, I think he was drafted in 2015 by Seattle, if I'm correct. But yeah, he's been with Seattle for a long time with Russ, and he was Russell Wilson's main target for a little while. But it's going to be interesting because obviously the Seattle may draft a QB, and he might stick around, and he might be good. But the thing is, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are guys that we can go and trade for maybe in the middle of the season. I think I could see them sticking with Seattle, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so let's look at some options that I think could actually benefit the Packers. So first off, I mean, a lot of it is very interesting because I'm not really sure on who they can really go for, but it's going to be interesting. So here's some guys that I've looked at in the last couple of days. Julio Jones. So, Julio Jones, the Titans released him a year after trading for him from the Falcons. And of course, there was no question about his productivity. I mean, he was one of the most effective receivers. I mean, dude was one of the best receivers in the last decade. I mean, everyone saw how good he was. But I don't know what it was and why he just struggled with Tennessee. Now, I get it. He's 33 years old. He's probably past his prime. But would Green Bay really want to rely on a primary receiver? He's a guy that's there. You can definitely take him. He's not worth as much money anymore. I mean, things may have not ended well with the Titans, but only catching 31 passes for 431 yards while playing 10 games and only getting 1 touchdown. Yes, he was robbed of another, but, I mean, his second game, he had 128 yards receiving, and that was a great game, and then we're thinking, okay, maybe he is good, but he just was injured, he just wasn't feeling it, but maybe he will actually be good. I'm not sure what to really say about this one, but it's gotta come, I'm really excited. I mean, I'd love to see him take him. I mean, he'd be a great weapon to really have. I mean, gotta understand that. Other guys that I'm thinking of. Now, this one I like, Jarvis Landry. Now, I was talking to some people about him, and they don't want him, which I don't understand. I think he'd be a great fit. However, he has been very non-productive in his, he had a unbelievable season in 2019, going over 1,000 yards. And he was great along Odell Beckham, but from what we've seen recently, does he have anything left in the tank? I mean, this is a huge risk. 2021, he had 52 catches for 570 yards and 2 touchdowns. In 2020, he had 72 for 840 and 3 touchdowns. The 5 seasons before that were Pro Bowl seasons with the Browns and the Dolphins. Yes, he turns 30 in the middle of the 2022 season, so that is a big risk. Would you want to take him? He's not worth much money, but he is an option. That's another guy that I mean, you could take. Obviously, I'm going to be looking at some guys that I think can be, definitely options. Another guy that we can actually go for. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't see this happening. It would be pretty stupid, but Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but he had the chance to really become much hotter because he helped the Rams win a Super Bowl. Then he tore his ACL during the game, and now his season's up for grabs because who knows if he'll even play. Now, players are coming back from ACL injuries much faster and faster these days. Why? Because the technology is moving so fast than we've ever seen. Now, maybe he can come back for the second half and make a difference for the playoffs. So maybe that's a big deal. But I think he will resign with Los Angeles, but we'll see what happens. I mean, there's still a lot of ways to go, but he is a huge boost for somebody that I'd really want to see. That is something excellent. Another guy that I think that we should sign. Now, this would be the most reasonable choice because, one, he was absolutely forgotten. Now, I get it. He hasn't been the same receiver last year, and he was completely forgotten. But if you look at it, he was really good that one year. I'm talking about Will Fuller. I think a lot of people have forgotten about him. I was really interested in him. A lot of people thought we were going to trade for him, I think 2 years ago, because we needed a number 2. But looking at his statistics, I mean, he had up and down years. I mean, his rookie year, he did pretty solid. Then other years, he was doing good. And then 2020 year, he had 53 catches for 879 yards and 8 touchdowns. Fortunately, he missed the last couple games due to a suspension, but I think he would have probably gotten to the 1,000 yards, but that's unfortunate. He got signed by Miami in the offseason on a cheap deal. However, it wasn't really short-lived because he didn't do anything and only had 4 catches for 26 yards and just 1 first down. Yeah, he just did not do anything, and that's a huge risk, but are you willing to take it? Yes, I want him. I think he's good. I mean, I gotta absolutely be honest with myself. I mean, I really want them to take him. I mean, no way. So here are some other options that I think that we could sign. Now I'm gonna go quick on these because I've talked a lot about some of the other options. However, some other options is Corey Davis out of New York Jets. The Jets are obviously looking for a rebuild. They signed him in intention to be the #1 receiver. However, he hasn't really been seeing the ball much, and I'm thinking that they're going to make Elijah Moore their starting wide #1. I think that they're really turning this thing around, and it's like Corey Davis is completely forgotten out of New York. So, there's nothing I can really say. However, I think he can really be a great transitioner. Plus, he knows LaFleur, so that's a very underrated pickup for the team. Another option that I would love is Devontae Parker. Now, I know a lot of people have eyes on him. He's only 29 years old. I mean, he still has a couple years left. 2019 was his best year, going over 1,000 yards, 16 yards per catch, while catching 61% of his 119 targets. 2020, he only got 793, only though he played 10 games, which is pretty impressive. And obviously, the thing is, he has 2 years left on his current deal, but there's real reasonable cap, and he's not worth as much money because he's pretty much underrated, and now it's very much reasonable. Why? Because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to be the #1 and #2. They also signed Cedric Wilson as their slot guy. So they already are pretty much confirmed to be a speedy type team. Devontae Parker is kind of slowly going away from this, and this is why I know a lot of teams are going to probably be trading him, because, I mean, he's not a #1 option anymore. He's a number 3 or 4, you know? This guy used to be a #1 option, and a lot of people forgot about him. So if we were to trade for someone, this is the guy that we would have to trade for. It's very reasonable. That's that. And then finally, when I looked at some other wide receivers, I think Laviska Shenault would probably be the best. Would it be another fit? Because right now, the Jacksonville's in the same situation. They already have Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk as their 1, 2, and 3. So they already have guys. Laviska Shenault is there, and I think he'd be a perfect fit for LaFleur's offense. I wanted the Packers to draft him when he was in the draft, and he never did. He can both wide, slot, you can put him anywhere, and I think he'd be absolutely fantastic. Plus, he's really good in the backfield as a rusher as well. I get it. He ain't the biggest blocker, but I think he'd be reasonable. And that's some guys that you can really go for. So that's that. Like what you saw, comment below, subscribe. Hopefully we sign some wide receivers. Of course, there's the NFL draft, and I'm sure we're going to be drafting one for the first round for the first time in 20 years. So it'd be great. So anyways, subscribe below. We'll see you next time. Go Pack, go.